These two short videos and downloadable resources provide an overview of what's involved in looking after a family member or friend who, because of disability, illness or frailty, couldn't manage otherwise. Whether you're starting to help someone, think caring might be around the corner, or want to breathe new life into the care you're already giving, this video is for you. In it, we'll be considering how much time caring takes, what it involves, and the why, who, and where of providing care. Importantly at this stage, we'll also think about what steps you can take to maintain your own well-being. And going forward, what's next? I'm Annette Merrick, and I've looked after relatives with serious medical conditions for over 20 years whilst bringing up my family and juggling a busy workload. Having worked in large companies and small startup businesses, now as a professional development coach, I use this experience to help people who are caring for others so they can build themselves a better quality of life, whether they're combining caring with employment or have caring as a full-time commitment. There tend to be many names used to describe someone who helps a family member or friend who, because of a disability, illness or frailty, couldn't manage otherwise. Carer or caregiver are often used, and it's not unusual to add extra words such as informal, unpaid, or family. For simplicity, in these courses I've chosen to call us carers and refer to the people we support as our carees. However, I appreciate that a lot of people quietly get on doing what's needed to look after the people they're supporting. Especially in the early stages, they might not even consider themselves as carers. They just think of themselves as keeping an eye on their mum or helping a friend back on their feet after a serious operation. Carers are often hard to spot, so it might come as a surprise to you that statistics from different parts of the world indicate that on average, 1 person in 10 is likely to be a carer. Also, approximately 50% of carers combine unpaid caring responsibilities with working, and over 40% of carers are male. Though we're all different and each caring situation has its own special considerations, I think it can benefit a person when they accept that they are a carer. They're then more likely to be aware of opportunities for receiving support and training and can prepare themselves better for the roles they're taking on. Some people become carers with the birth of their child, or in the answering of a phone call, an accident, a sudden illness, or an unexpected event that comes out of the blue, and they have little choice about their immediate response. They become carers. Others can see caring creeping up on them. It's thought that 3 out of 5 people will be carers at some point in their lives, and yet caring is something many of us know little about until we become involved. For instance, how much time does caregiving take? Let's start with a survey that looked at how the number of hours per week spent caring varies from carer to carer. Drawn as a chart, we can see how the number of hours spent caring varies, and around 47%, nearly half of these unpaid carers surveyed, spent more than 20 hours per week caring. Another aspect of the survey studied was how the number of years spent caring varies from carer to carer. Drawing this as another chart shows how the time spent caring varies, and that around 9 out of 10 carers provide care for more than 1 year. 7 out of 10 carers provide care for more than 3 years, 5 out of 10 for more than 5 years, 1 out of 4 for more than 10 years, and 1 out of 12 carers provide care for more than 20 years. Of course, most of us don't know how long we'll be carers, but these two charts show that a high percentage of carers spend many hours a week providing care over very long periods of time. My point is that we need to find ways to make something we could be doing for many years be as enjoyable as it can. Knowing this, you owe it to yourself and your caree to consider how to make the time you spend caring the best it can be. I don't say this lightly because I know firsthand how challenging caring can be, but I do believe that when you're prepared to develop ways to help yourself in this, you'll find greater enjoyment in the everyday tasks of caregiving. What care is provided varies greatly from case to case. For example, think about what care is given to a child or an adult who's learning to live with a disability, or what's arranged for someone recovering from major surgery, or what support's given to relatives or friends who are experiencing the challenges of old age. What might caring for a relative or friend involve? I'm going to build up a whole range of ideas as to what's widely thought of as providing care. It might involve some form of physical help, such as pushing a wheelchair, for example, or arranging regular and nutritious meals for people who are struggling to cook because of a disability or the frailty of old age. If the person you support has their own home, they might need occasional or regular assistance with housework or other help, such as house maintenance or gardening, and help with their finances and paperwork. Perhaps they just need keeping an eye on and appreciate extra moral support to do the things they find challenging. For those who find it difficult to leave their homes by themselves, care might involve taking them shopping for food and clothes, and to appointments or other outings, or keeping them company when they can't go out. Caring for loved ones could involve helping them learn or relearn new skills and finding different ways of maintaining contact with their friends. Also, it's not unusual for carers to learn new skills that are necessary for looking after their caree. Even things like collecting, monitoring and giving medicine are important tasks that need someone who is methodical and able to accurately follow directions. Sometimes assistance with personal care is needed. This includes tasks such as dressing, bathing, washing, shaving, cutting nails, feeding, and using the toilet. Some of these are very intimate by nature, and depending on the carer-caree relationship and financial considerations, care agencies might sometimes be brought in to provide extra support with these. If the person being supported is unable to cope with arranging these, their carer would generally deal with the smooth running of these care services and the claiming of any relevant financial benefits or allowances. Also, especially where funding is stretched, carers might become involved with campaigning for particular services or pushing for certain things to be carried out. So, why care? Generosity is an admirable quality, often found in carers. However, it's sometimes taken advantage of or can be misguided, resulting in caring situations that are unhappy. By considering the why of caregiving, this video helps you protect yourself and improve your quality of life as a carer. So let's think about what might happen when we don't really understand why we're providing care for someone. Sometimes carers fuss about tweaking this and that, generously wanting to help their loved one, but not knowing what to do because they're not clear exactly why they're looking after them. This often ends up with a caree getting cross and saying something like, "Stop fussing!" Worse still, if the caree doesn't put up resistance, misguided generosity on the carer's part can lead them to continually rescue their loved one, even when the caree might have been able to do what was necessary. This can cause their caree to think they aren't capable of doing what's needed, and they then start to expect help to automatically appear. If this builds into a habit, the rescuer can end up feeling overwhelmed and taken for granted. So as a carer, it's important to determine the types and levels of care really needed by listing all the reasons as to exactly why someone's struggling to cope. Here are some possibilities. Perhaps it's a long-standing illness, a sight or hearing loss, a physical disability, the effects of a stroke, or a learning disability or difficulty. Even if you've been doing this caring for many years, it still can be useful to explore these reasons in more detail to review why you're actually doing what you're doing. For example, a carer might stick to a routine, carrying on with the set caring tasks, without noticing gradual improvements in their caree's abilities. Whereas thinking about the why helps them appreciate this previously unnoticed progress. They could then consider helping their caree safely take on more responsibilities, which can improve a caring situation in many ways. Some care needs might fluctuate over time in terms of severity, such as those associated with mental health problems and alcohol or drug dependency. The why behind this type of support will call for quite different approaches by carers. Yet again, another set of caring skills will be required for problems connected with old age, dementia, and terminal illnesses. Other reasons might include things like loss of confidence, where, for example, the caree suddenly experiences problems doing things they were previously able to do. The immediate reaction of a kind-hearted relative or friend might be to respond by doing the chore instead. Unfortunately, though, such a response might not help the situation in the longer term because the why is not being considered. Whereas, if a carer understands that loss of confidence is contributing to the difficulties, they're more likely to gently probe into what might be causing any concerns. Then, having listened properly, they can find ways to help the caree rebuild their confidence so that they can continue doing as many things as is practically safe. Once you understand the exact reasons for the why behind the care needed, you can then steer your efforts to meet these needs in ways that best suit those involved. This brings us to the end of the first part of what does caring for disabled, ill, or elderly people involve. In the second video, we consider the who and where of providing care, along with what steps you can take to maintain your own well-being whilst caring. And going forward, what's next? In addition, you also have the option of downloading notes and an exercise which can help you apply what's being covered to your own situation. To access all this and start the second video, exit full screen and click on the link below this video to sign up for the rest of this free course.